here we are in late March of 2018, and you're finally all going to get what you wanted. The Democrats, the liberals, George Soros, CNN, you're all going to get what you wanted. I was wrong. You were right. Trump is a betrayer and a liar and has sold us all out. I am officially off the Trump train. I agree with the president's hardline supporters that he needs to be impeached. And I guess it's all over. It's absolutely all over because the Republican and the Democrat House and Senate passed a spending bill. It's not their fault. They're good people. And Trump signed it today. It didn't matter that he said it was a scam, was out of control, they were holding him hostage, and it was cutting off military funding during critical crises with North Korea and China and Russia. That's all just talk. It didn't matter that he pointed out that they were trying to cut off border funding or veterans funding or old folks funding or Medicare or Medicaid or any of it. It's not the Republicans' fault in the House and Senate for passing the bill with all the pork barrel. It's not the Democrats' fault in the House and Senate. It's Trump's. And I don't care if he killed TPP the first week in office that was unelected and took over the country. I don't care if he brought back 2 million jobs in 14 months. I don't care if he brought back $300 billion in new funding, at least. I don't care if we got $4 trillion in the stock market. I don't care if China has huge tariffs on us and he started tariffs against them yesterday. I don't care about that. I'm going with the crowd and what feels good, and my own InfoWars listeners commenting on Infowars.com that I'm a traitor, that I planned all this to screw you over, and that Trump's this piece of crap and we should have elected Hillary. You're right. God, Hillary was good, man. The Arab Spring and Bill Clinton and the globalists and the deindustrialization and the missile secrets to communist China and everything. Screw Trump renegotiating NAFTA and GATT and securing the border and breaking the back of political correctness and doing all the things that have happened and having the media and the globalists so upset. You know, it doesn't matter. You're right. And it's true. In that spending bill, $500 million for Planned Parenthood. That's true. It's got like millions of dollars for transgender studies in Kenya and millions of dollars for shrimp on treadmills. And it's not the fault of the Democrat congressmen and women that put that pork barrel on and held up all the military spending. It's Trump's fault. I'm starting to get the logic here of a victimized America that doesn't differentiate facts from fiction and just likes to feel pissed off. So now I sit back and I wish Hillary would have been elected. God, she's so strong, so virile, so amazing. The only person on earth can actually fly. The Wright brothers thought they could fly with planes. I mean, she's on record, she can fly. They said she was sick and fell down because that's the opposite of what she is. And the Awan brothers and Seth Rich and all of it, you know, I'm not appreciative for Trump going through all the things he's gone through. I'm not appreciative of the fact his hands are tied and he could hold up the economy right when the globalists want to implode it. No, it's his fault. And that nameless Democrat and Republican Congress, they're getting points right now saying he failed, they won with a big bankruptcy plan. But let me get serious for you and give you the real news here. There's a couple different schools of thought. There's 3 schools of thought. There's authoritarianism, a feudalism model where nobody has money but the top 1%. There's a capitalism model that creates incredible wealth and decadence and a lot of problems, but it doesn't empower people. And there's a crony capitalist model. And you see communist China, which is the opposite of communism. It's fascism by a tiny 1/10 of 1%, the Politburo and the Chinese dictator. They, on average, you can look it up, have 10 times the fiat fake currency the U.S. has for the size of their economy. And they have taken over the world's economics. They've taken over the rare earth minerals. They've taken over the computer chips. They've taken over it all because our own elites put tariffs on America, prohibitive for us to be able to even compete. And so they come out, and the CFR, the globalists, the traders in America, say that the Chinese century's here. And then they leverage out all this debt, 10 times ours per capita, so they can buy up the majority of our debt the last decade. And so they can lecture us and buy up Hollywood and buy up the universities because they believe America's weak and we're all going to fall. And then Trump looks at that and says, well, I want to try to fix the budget, and I want to cut taxes to bring in more revenue, and I want to do all these good things, but I'm only 14, 15 months in. The globalists with Communist China allied are trying to destabilize us, trying to bring us down. So if Congress won't bring me a reasonable spending bill and make it pork barrel for us to get the things that are essential, I'm not a dictator. I'm going to go ahead and vote for that. I'm going to sign on to that and ask for a line item veto and ask for the power to stop that in the future. I don't have that power. But I'm not a dictator. The name of this video should be Trump, I'm not a dictator. And I can't turn the government off and Social Security checks and military checks and all this because your Congress, both Republican and Democrat, are holding us hostage. You, the people, we, the people, have to do something. And so he signs it. It's pragmatic. It's what he's always done. He understands that the Communist Chinese, the EU, they're all leveraged out debt-wise way more than we are. They're using that debt for elites to pass the debt on to the people, but to buy up airports and infrastructure and mines and ships and companies. And America for 50 years has been behind the 8 ball where we pay for it all, but the globalists get it all. And so Trump's sitting back going, we could leverage our debt 10 times what the Chinese have and actually put it in infrastructure. The globalists haven't done that for infrastructure here. They've done it for infrastructure in China. But Trump's like, we could fight fire with fire. But he goes, I'll take the moral road. I'll see if Congress does the right thing. And if they come in and try to balance this and fix it and then give us spending in critical areas, but cut it in others, as he's already done in the federal government, and they just ignore that, and the cowardly Republicans, many of them, want to go to their constituents and say, see, Trump sold you out. He signed it, when they're the ones that went along with it when they had the control of the House and Senate. See how that works? And the Democrats, they go, hey, we got victory. Trump does what we want. Yay, bankrupt everything. But here's the deal. China and India and the EU and all of them are creating exponential debt on the backs of their people, like Zimbabwe did. And the U.S. has been caught up in this fake libertarian movement of, oh, it doesn't matter if China's got a 20% or 30% tariff on us or the EU does. We call it free and fair trade. You just let them do it. Trump's already said no to that yesterday. And then the Congress passes this whole deal. So it's very pragmatic. It's very reality-based if you know all the facts to say, I'm not a dictator. The Congress did this. It's got a lot of pork barrel. It's a mess. He called it, ridiculous. He called it, what was the exact term he called it? A mess. But he said, I'm not a dictator, so we're going to go ahead with this, but please give me the power for line item vetoes, which is constitutional, and please kill the filibuster so a 51% in the Senate of Republicans could have killed all the Democrats' spending, because the bill's got to match up with the House and Senate. Well, the Democrats have a veto in the Senate, and so they got all this, and Trump sat by with them holding the country hostage, hoping we go belly up so China becomes preeminent. That's the point we were at. So he's held up in check because the globalists have the country in checkmate, and he's coming to the people saying, I've done everything I can on the one-sided trade deals, I've done everything I can on the border, on the veterans, on political correctness, on cutting regulations, even before I got tax cuts to bring stuff back. I've done what I can. I've tried as hard as I can, and you're just going to sit here and blame me. He didn't even say that. He said it's a mess. You need to give us the power to kill the filibuster in the Senate with Senate rules. It's only been like that for 50 years, and you need to give me the line item veto, and we'll be able to stop this next time. And so my issue is Trump doesn't deserve the mantle of the guy that sold us out signing that when the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, went for that. And when China and everybody else doesn't care, like Mexico or whoever, they're just leveraging all the debt for their elites to buy everything up, leaving it on their people. And then along comes Trump trying to fix that. It's an amazing time to be alive. So just because I've talked to Trump on the phone or he's been on the show, it's not I care less about Hollywood, celebrities. Before I really knew a lot about Donald Trump, he ran for office, I didn't particularly like him. Casinos, hotels, some flashy guy. I'm not into that kind of crap. He was just doing that for his own PR for his companies. The real Donald Trump's dad was John Bircher. He was against NAFTA and GATT. He paid millions of dollars fighting it. He loves America. And he just wants a pragmatic, reciprocal trade deal with the globalists and what they've done. so that America isn't penalized and America isn't cornered and America doesn't get put down because a bunch of socialists that set this up in the 50s and 60s got a hard-on for the country and their whole flowered pip. So if you want the real boil down, if you want the facts of what really just happened, you just got them. You just got them. And I'm sitting here on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. People say, why are you looking over here? Why are you looking over there? Why are you looking here? Because I got 3 cameras with hundreds of thousands watching right now, millions later. And, you know, I saw him saying, I think I'm going to veto this. It's a really big, bad scam this morning. And then he gets up and says, I reluctantly do it, but we're being held hostage and I don't have the power to control what Congress does, so I'm not going to hold the country up because the Chinese and everybody are command and control. And they're saying, don't worry, we can organize stuff no matter what. We can have 10 times the fake funding the U.S. does and inflation, and we'll give all you big companies unlimited returns. If you just move here, we'll give you 0 tax. We don't have that here. If you just invest with the Communist Party, that's all in the news. And Trump sees that. He lowers taxes from 40 to 15. China goes from 15 to 0 this month. So if you pragmatically sit back and go, Trump just funded Planned Parenthood. You're seeing it from all the Republican sites. And Trump just sold us out with the Democrats. It's the Republicans in Congress and the fact that they've got that filibuster rule that allowed that in the Senate through. So, okay, here's the deal. The Democrats are up here blame-wise. The Republican Congress, the Senate's right here. The Republican House is here. Republicans want to sit there and make it Trump's fault, but you've got Democrat Senate, because they've got that filibuster. It's basically Democrat Senate. It's not a majority. And then you've got the Republican House, and then you got Trump. So it's not about defending Trump. They hate him because he's for real trying to restore the republic and our free market systems. So it'd be easy to get up here and go, and YouTube would suddenly open up the gates, and Facebook would, and suddenly my videos would get 20 million views again. And I could go, that's it, I'm sick of Trump. God damn it, he sold us out, what a traitor. Why, he voted with the Democrats to fund Planned Parenthood, and he did all these things, and he sold out his whole thing he was going to do, except yesterday he took on the Communist Chinese. And the week before that, he defended the border. And the week before that, he got the tax cuts. And the week before that, he took out the mandate in Obamacare. And the week before that, he delivered everywhere he could. But he can't on this because it's the budget, and we have 3 branches of government. Legislative, that's the Congress. Judicial, that's the courts. And the executive, that's the president. And the president doesn't even have full control of the executive. So the good news is populism's exploding everywhere. People are waking up to this. It's bigger than Trump. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. The Speaker of the House in Hungary went public and exposed the globals today. It's on Infowars.com. Laid out how it's all an anti-human, transhumanist takeover of the family. People are getting it, so that's the good news. So we don't rise and fall with Trump, but Trump's for real. He's just a throwback, pragmatist, pro-America guy that says, we got world power, we're free market. Why should we shit on America and bring it down for some greater UN plan when America can be great and the whole world can be great? And they hold him hostage with military spending and everything else, and the military's paychecks, and say he's got to do this. And then the Republican establishment, which are a bunch of blue bloods who just want to shift blame from themselves, the same ones that can't get the votes passed in the Senate to end the Democrat filibuster, sit there and play you like you're morons. The globalists, the establishment, are in panic mode because for the first time in modern history, we've got a president that isn't out to get the country. But it isn't about Trump. It's about all of us that got him there and realizing the point we're at right now. Now, I'll be back Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. covering this. We'll have live broadcast tomorrow getting into it. We've got articles with 4,000 or 5,000 comments today. You know, Trump's base blows up at him. But I'm not an SJW, man. I'm not somebody that doesn't know the facts and doesn't know the angles to this. And I want prosperity. I want free market. And I know where we are. So if you just joined us, impeach Trump. Where would we be with Hillary right now? War, economic collapse, it was all planned.